Hi everyone, Happy New Year. I have for ages been wanting to put out a new video, but life got busy and I haven't had the time to dedicate towards videos. I've also been thinking in terms of this channel, what do I want to do? What kind of content do I want to put up? Agmashwa has posted the Big Lang Conlang gang, which is just such a fun thing to say. Conlang Census. No, I think it's only up for another week or two, so I'm really late in the game on this one. I think it's a great idea. I think it's really cool. I think it's quite inventive. I'll leave a link to the video where Agmashwa explains this far more expertly and succinctly than I could. So I thought it would be interesting to test this new format and to get in the habit of posting more regular videos for me to go and fill in the census. So let's get started. Here we are, ladies and gentlemen, the Big Lang Conlang Census of 2021. Where did you access the survey from? Reddit. How old are you? I am in my 20s. How old were you when you started conlanging? My first experience of conlanging was drawing alphabets when I was 7 or 8 years old maybe, so I'm going to say 6 to 12. What is your current education level? I graduated with a bachelor's in language and linguistics, interestingly enough. Do you play musical instruments? Yes, multiple. Do you know coding? I kind of know Python, a little bit. No, I don't feel comfortable. I'm not that good. What were your favourite subjects in school? Foreign languages, music. Which geographic region do you live in? Where's Europe? If you world build, is your world building subsequent to your conlang? I like the languages first, and then I build a world to put them in. What type of media introduced you to the idea of conlanging? My first foray into a conlang was the conlang that's used in Watership Down. And that's an example that's given here, so I'm assuming that it's a fairly common one. So yeah, Lord of the Rings Watership Down. Through what platforms do you engage with the community? I watch a lot of YouTube videos, Reddit. How do you consider your proficiency in linguistics? I have a degree in linguistics, so I would say that I know an average amount. How many natural languages can you speak conversationally? Realistically, English. Et je parle un peu de français à cause d'avoir y habité il y a quelques années. If you speak multiple languages, are they from the same language family or from different families? Well, I speak one Germanic and one Romance, so technically from different families. Did you grow up in a multilingual household? No, monolingual. Although I grew up in an area of Scotland where they speak a fairly pronounced dialect. How many conlangs can you speak? I can give you the first line of Tolkien's I laure lantarlassi surinen, and I can give you the first line of the prayer that I did for my Agere Conlang showcase, if I can remember it. Iveahue I te saerde aveahue katusi e sako adio irason leomettinedo vamev. But other than that, I don't actually speak them. How many conlangs have you worked on, whether you finished the project or not? At least 6. At least 6. How many conlang projects have you completed to your satisfaction? I would say that Agere is the only conlang project to date that I've completed. I'm currently in the process of working on word derivation, which I will make a video about. When making conlangs, do you often take inspiration from natural languages? Principally, yes. I mean, Agere, I would say, is my attempt at Latin or Greek. If you aim for naturalism in your languages, do you often try to emulate the vibe? Yeah, Agere is definitely trying to emulate the vibe of Latin or a Romance language in terms of its phonology and phonotactics. The grammar would be more akin to, say, Latin. When making conlangs, do you often take inspiration from other conlangs? Not necessarily other conlangs, but conlangers. So I'm going to say yes. When choosing morphosyntactic alignment, what's your most frequent choice? I speak a nominative accusative language, so it's easier for me to understand that. But recently I've been looking more into ergative absolutive languages. Understanding the way that the alignment works with verbs is something that I've always found quite tricky. So in a nominative accusative language, you would have the passive voice, and in the ergative absolutive, you have an anti-passive voice. Understanding what an anti-passive voice is in the context of ergativity takes more, I think, to understand. The actual alignment itself isn't very difficult to understand, but who wants to make an ergative absolutive language unless you also have corresponding features that would be found in ergative languages? What I find quite interesting is how Proto-Indo-European as a nominative accusative language in Persian and I believe Sanskrit evolved a form of ergativity in, I believe it was the past tense, from a use of the instrumental with the passive, and the instrumental became reinterpreted as a ergative. And there you have split ergativity coming from a nominative accusative language. That to me is more interesting than just this language is going to be ergative or tripartite for the hell of it. Do you tend to choose more simple or more complex phonologies for your language? Maybe simple isn't the right word here. Symmetrical. I like symmetrical phonologies, but then you always have to throw in a bit of asymmetry. How likely are you to create phonologies that include sounds you personally can't produce? Kind of. What approximate fraction of your conlangs do you consider naturalistic? I think that they're all naturalistic. What approximate percentage of your conlangs do you consider engineered languages? None of mine are. What approximate percentage of your conlangs are auxiliary languages? None. I don't intend for anyone to ever actually speak my languages. Which of the following features have you implemented in a conlang? I do have grammatical case. I like verb agreement. I have a form of grammatical gender, but it's not sex-based. Have you ever tried to make up new linguistic concepts that don't exist in natural languages? I took inspiration from Finnish, which took nouns and postpositions and merged them together and has ended up with a host of, I think it's 6 locative cases. I did a similar thing for a language that I was working on for a game that my brother is making, and made the impertingent and the expertingent cases. And the idea is that if you were touching the inside of a wall, you would use a specific case for the wall. If you're touching the outside of the wall, you would use a particular case for the wall. For the outside of the wall. I can't remember what drove me to make that, but it made sense within the context of the game at least. Do you make conscripts? Yes, I make conscripts, but none of them are finished yet. Which cases have you used in your conlangs? If you don't know what a case is or don't know how to implement it, select I don't know. That's great. That's quite funny. Nominative, yep. Accusative, dative, genitive, locative, no, I haven't done a locative. Instrumental, yes. Comitative, no. Oh wow, here we go. Wow, there's a lot of cases here. Okay, where was this list taken from? Is this taken from the Wikipedia list of grammatical cases? Is that where this comes from? Benefactive. Oh, I have done a benefactive case. Technically possessive, genitive, kind of. No. Prepositional. I have a postpositional case that I've developed for Savance. Vocative, yep. No. Cases not mentioned here, yes. The impertingent and expertingent. Which aspect of conlanging do you enjoy most? I don't really ever focus on pragmatics, and I feel like I should. Untapped potential. I'm going to change from phonology to evolution, actually. I like the process of taking one thing and turning it into another. Like I mentioned earlier, when talking about the ergative cases, if you can evolve an ergative case out of a nominative accusative language, I think that's more interesting than starting with an ergative language. Which aspect do you find the least important to considering a project complete? Lexicon. You can have thousands of words, or you can have a few hundred. As long as you have a solid derivation structure, I don't think you need to worry too much about. Agere has about 550, so it's getting there. Which aspects of languages have you tried to incorporate to make a language feel naturalistic and lived in? Proto-languages. This is the end. For future reference, what did you think of questions on this survey? I think that these were good questions. The only thing I'm a bit confused about is why there's a big long list of grammatical cases here, but nothing equivalent for verbs. It would be really interesting to see how the Conlang community views tenses and aspects and how they incorporate things like evidentiality. I think a lot of the focus in this has been on nouns, and that's definitely a good starting point. Honestly, I think as a first survey, this is good work. I think this is good work. Good job, guys. And there we go. The census is complete. This first new video has been put together. I will no doubt look back on this video in a few months and cringe at how much I did wrong in the process of making the video and putting it together and uploading and whatnot. But I hope it's been at least interesting. If you have any suggestions for things that you'd like to see, please comment below. Look forward to seeing you next time.